Alright, hey guys, OFD checking in this morning, and today we've got a really cool prototype watch here from a company by the name of Dart, and we're going to be taking a look at the Wahoo Chronograph. This is, like I said, this is a prototype watch, so this is actually the very first one they've made. I'll leave a link for some information as far as how you can find these watches and get a hold of one. One thing I want to show you guys real quick, this is really cool. The gentleman that won the Barton straps from the channel, David in Amsterdam, I sent those things out to him last month. Loves them. He's having fun with them, putting them on. He sent me these two postcards. Really cool. Barton straps are very good. Happy David Amon. That's what he goes by on YouTube. And he said these two locations are like 5 minutes bicycle ride from his house. So isn't that cool? So thanks, David. If you guys ever want to get me out a postcard or anything like that, my address is usually down below in the description. And you guys can do that. I'd love to see postcards from where you guys are in the world. So. All right, guys, here we go. This is the Dart-Wahoo Chronograph. There's a Bullhead Chronograph, obviously, as you guys can tell. First time I've had a Bullhead on the channel, which is kind of exciting. If you guys are not familiar with the term Bullhead Chronograph, once you see it, it's kind of obvious. The fact that the controls, the pushers and the crown have been moved up to the 12 o'clock position make it a Bullhead Chronograph, especially when it's worn on the wrist. Now, a lot of your sporting timers and stuff like that you wear on a rope around your neck are basically set up this way normally. But not so usually on a wristwatch. So kind of a neat feature, been around for a number of years. A lot of companies have done this over the years, and so neat thing for Wahoo to do. All right, so we've got a quartz chronograph here. Now over at the 3 o'clock position, you guys can barely see it moving there under the hand, but that's your moving seconds hand on the watch. So that'll keep track of your standard seconds. One of the things I think is neat about the layout is if you guys see the 30-second mark is up at the top, and your 0 is down at the bottom, and I think that's just kind of unique, kind of a neat timing setup there. Also, it's a little hard to catch here in the studio lights, but you guys can see it on that dial there, that subdial at 9 o'clock, is there's some really neat texturing done on both of the subdials, and basically it's hard to see, but the texturing goes in opposite directions. So on this dial, it kind of goes up and to the right, and on this one, it kind of goes up and to the left, and out in the sunlight, it really adds a cool effect to it. So you've got this tachymeter index ring here around the outside, as you guys can see, and it comes up and it pretty much meets this Domed Sapphire crystal here. So it gives a really nice deep effect to the dial here, as you guys can see. Applied indices all the way around, and just inside the applied indice on the dial, you guys can see a Lume pip. I will go ahead and get a Lume shot of this watch up at the end and get it on my wrist to show you guys. So quartz chronograph, this is running the VK61 Mecha-Quartz from Seiko. That's a combination of a mechanical and a quartz movement. Uses the mechanical portion, I think, to kind of control a lot of the function of the chronograph. Go ahead and get that started here, and if you guys can hear it, it's got a good click to it. Let's see. Hear that? Real nice, solid mechanical click. And as you guys can see, that sweeping hand there for the chronograph, very nice and smooth. So besides the applied indices, the hands here, very nice pencil-style hands with Lume up the center. Down here with this Mecha-Quartz movement, you also have a date function, and that's at the 6 o'clock position there. So very nice. Looking at the case, very unique case design on this watch, really neat. Now, the dimensions are not nearly as big as the watch kind of gives itself off to be, just because the way it sits up away from this, the leather strap here. You're looking at 42 millimeters on this case from side to side. You're looking at 48 millimeters from end to end on the watch. I want to say lug tip to lug tip, but it's not really lug tips. It's from this end to this end of the watch is 48. That doesn't include the crowns of the pusher, of course. You're looking at 12.5 millimeters thick. It looks a lot thicker than that just because of the way it's set up, but it's not. You'll notice when I get it on my wrist here. So it's a good size watch, and I think we've got 20 millimeter lugs here. So not too bad. Take a quick look here at the case back. Flip that over so we got it right. And let's see if we can get this to focus. There we go. We've got the Wahoo fish there jumping out of the wave. And up here you guys can see the Sapphire and the Wahoo. This is number 1 of 300 that they're going to make. Hong Kong design on this watch. And it's of course got a Japan movement because of that Seiko Mecha-Quartz. Nice leather strap with the Dart logo on it. I love these rally straps. I really like the look of them. And then you have your Dart logo there on the buckle. Nice brush buckle here. Top of the case, the part you're going to be looking at, that is brushed, but pretty much everything else beside the case back on the watch is polished to a nice sheen. So Very, very cool. Like I said, double Domed Sapphire. This is a tour watch. So this Scott Stauffer got this watch going, and it'll be going to a number of different channels. I'll leave the links to all their different videos down there so you guys can check those out. Now we're going to go ahead and stop this. You guys could hear that nice pop of that pusher, and then watch when I reset it. It's a springback or a flyback. So, bam. Really cool. That's the neat mechanical portion there. I didn't mention it, but of course this is going to be a 60-minute counter over here at the 9 o'clock position for that chronograph. So let me go ahead and pause it here, and we'll get this watch on the wrist and get a lume shot for you guys. All right, so I have a 7-inch wrist, and obviously this watch has a lot of wrist presence. 48 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip doesn't sound that big, but it's not lug tip to lug tip. It's actually the case size. So you don't have as much curvature as you might have on a normal watch. So it definitely stands up on the wrist and has some good wrist presence. Neat thing about the way this is set up is operation of the crowns and the pushers and everything like that is very easy because of the way this watch sits on the wrist. So very different, very neat looking watch. So, all right, let me go ahead and dim the lights here, guys, and we'll get some, we'll dump some light on this and see what the lume looks like. All right, so let's go ahead and get out the big Drill Master flashlight here and dump some light on here. I'm not really sure exactly what the lume is. Because it's a prototype, we really don't have a whole lot of information on it yet. It's a brand new deal. They got it out for the tour really quick. And it's got good lume, obviously. I mean, I think it's neat that they've lumed those, those small hands on the chronograph. Look at that. Isn't that neat? And then you've got the good, strong pips at the end of each indice. So, great looking watch from Dart, the Wahoo. All right, guys, there's the lume shot. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom. And if you've not subscribed to the OFD channel yet, please do. Please do. Thanks, guys.